Morning. My tripod's doing a little funkiness here. Bear with me. Shaky camera. Sorry. I in a bit of a mood today. Weather's kind of garbage. Temperature dropped like a fucking rock last night. Or at least it feels like it now that it's warming up. And as my wife likes to point out, I am heavily influenced by the weather. Trying to get my photo reference. Let's see, that's a screenshot. All right. Situated, my photo reference situated. Working on the piece that I was talking about in yesterday's post about Delta Dawn, Scott Bachman's story. This piece has been more challenging than I had anticipated. And it's not even like the challenge of doing a different concept. It's just this particular figure. This is weird because it's still backwards, but it'll show it right. It was just, I don't know, I drew and redrew that one like 4 or 5 times. I think I redrew this one several times too. Just to get the weird forced perspective right, and because it's all, like it's almost fisheye, but it's not quite. And honestly, it's kind of a bastard perspective grid anyways. And I don't know, my head's just kind of going everywhere this morning, so that sort of excuse me, that sort of challenge is, it's one of those moments, one of those days when it becomes a matter of me trying to talk myself into just picking up the fucking pencil and doing the work. And, you know, some days that is the hardest part, just getting the pencil in my hand and starting. So, like, one of the places, man, I need water. You know, it's that thing where they, you know, they tell you that you do what you love, you're gonna work a day in your life, which is crap. This is absolutely work, because it is, and it's in a lot of ways it's even more difficult than doing, you know, I used to do factory work, and that was difficult in that I had to do something I didn't enjoy at all, but I could go in and be on autopilot for most of the day and just get the job done and be like, fuck it, and go home and drink myself into oblivion and not have to worry about it. But, you know, this, one of the biggest things I struggle with doing this type of work is because I love it so much, it makes it that more difficult to be open about it. And being open about it oftentimes requires me to do stuff like this, put it up on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. And, you know, I used to be worried about people's remarks. Now, the part that I'm struggling with is the lack of response. That is still a tangent. You know, it's, the things I've been thinking about today are very much involved around promotion, which is not something I do naturally. I actually struggle a lot with just promoting my work. Um, I like the fact that with social media you can just put it up and kind of show it and not have to do a lot of telling, or people look at it and generally enjoy the work, which is great, but converting that into a sale or converting that into a following is more and more difficult because of saturation, because of so many other people trying to do the same thing, and rightly so. But also just, I get tired of being on the internet, I get tired of being on social media, and it zaps my energy sometimes to see people having problems, to try and, I'm not a huge social justice warrior or anything, but on the same token, I like to be responsible. I feel like part of my job as an artist is to improve the world around me in some fashion, because I observe the world around me constantly. It's my source of inspiration and source of energy, but it's also extraordinarily draining. And it's hard for me. I totally get Steve Ditko's perspective on that and just being a fucking recluse all the time, because that's kind of how I operate, and it's just being in front of people as a performer is not something that I enjoy. I'm doing this vlog, web diary, whatever you want to call it, video diary, excuse me, and I'm trying to open up conversation, trying to promote my work, trying to get my fucking thoughts out of my head, hopefully in a way that people will appreciate. If nothing else, at least, I feel a little bit better after. But I've been struggling a lot with social media lately. I've been struggling a lot with internet presence. The fact that my web store has been up for 4 months, since January, middle of January, I think, and I haven't made a single sale off of it. It's one of those things. I used to think that quality product would draw in customers or draw in fans, and it would just sort of take care of itself because people would recognize quality. And I still kind of adhere to that concept, but the thing that we see so much now is just we are bombarded with so many commercials, we're bombarded with so many ads for just all sorts of shit, and we become blind to it, and we become deaf to it, and we just plain tune it out. And reasonably so, because it becomes a wall of background noise to us very quickly. And I don't want to add to that, and I don't want to get lost in it. So, the two options basically are be quiet and hope that people find your stuff, which is not a good business move at all, or get out, show your shit, try to have people. That looks like it's going in her butt. Tangents. Try to make a noise, try to get people to like your work, hope that you get fans that appreciate what you do and are willing to support you monetarily. I found myself kind of sinking into the notion that, maybe I won't ever get past this point. I've been watching a lot of Bobby Chew videos on YouTube, interviews with other artists and whatnot, and you know, I look at it and I'm like, well, I know all that stuff, I can do all that stuff. What am I doing wrong so that I'm not achieving those things? You know, is it my fault? First, you know, the paranoid brain says, hey, maybe it's like Facebook's algorithms, or, you know, am I doing something wrong? And I think a big part of the thing that I'm doing wrong is just not making enough of a visual presence. And so I'm trying to step that up. And I'm trying to overcome certain personality flaws that I see. My general state of procrastination, which is just huge. You know, being a stay-at-home parent, I've become more comfortable in that role. When I first started doing it, it was pretty awkward for me. But yeah, now I'm trying to shift back away from that. And honestly, I don't know if I've developed the skill set to do that correctly, because I've come from such a blue collar family, blue collar area that just doesn't really know what to do or how to operate around artists, with artists, how to support, how to promote, how to any of that. And that, you know, I'm not saying that they don't appreciate it. A lot of them very much do, but it's a struggle for them to understand just how to communicate, how to, you know, interact. I go to conventions here, and you know, it's kind of charming on one level, because people are really excited to see the work and see, you know, that we have a community of artists here doing what we do. But on the same token, there's a local artist that put together a bingo card with all this stupid shit that people say to us at cons. You know, just trying to make light of the tedium of it. And I can't blame him. It is frustrating. But then it becomes a question of what do we do with that? How do we handle, you know, people's ridiculous questions, and how do we handle, do we even have the right to be upset about it? Like, I'm not 100% sure that we do. I wish I had my small eraser. I've been around doing this stuff long enough, I can see both sides of it. I'm sure that the person that made that card can see both sides of it as well, because he's not stupid. He gets it. It's just part of the process of dealing with these folks. Sometimes it becomes a matter of education. I don't mean like taking them to school, I mean just like letting them know, like, hey, you know, don't touch all my fucking artwork, or, you know, prints are cheaper than original art because it's the original art, and prints are prints, and they're mass produced. Or my classic one is, do you do tattoos? And to which I say no, because tattoos are a very specialized art form, and I really don't feel like I have the skill set to be dabbling on other people's skin. And, you know, I'm burnt out on doing conventions. I'm burnt out on social media. I'm looking at various areas to work into. Obviously, the online store is one of them. not 100% sure how that's working out right now, or how it'll work out in the long term. Trying to keep my patience with the business side of it, and I'm struggling at the moment. Big part of that's just feeling the pressure of baby on the way. Another big part of it is not being 100% confident in the fact that, or in my wife's job's maternity leave policy. So, I'd like to pick up some slack with the artwork. I'm not really sure what to do to be efficient and effective at that. Perspective. Anyway, I don't like to bitch about this stuff. I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm really concerned about a lot of it. It's one of the things that I never expected about being an artist and a creative is just the sheer amount of re-education I have to do for other people. Like explaining to them things like freelance work, or explaining to them things like why, that's not where that belongs, why original art is more expensive than, a print, or just what looks like basic business shit to me anyways, like, I don't know. I'm trying to overcome a lot of my own personal shortcomings at the moment, or at least trying to grow personally so that I can grow professionally and develop more I've got the skill sets to do the illustration work, I've got the skill sets for the design work. I'm trying to develop the skill sets for the promotional work, for marketing, and that is double-edged, is a double struggle for me, because one, it's something I kind of have disdain for anyways, like, I hate being marketed to, I hate being sold to, so for me to turn around and do that for other people, it's very aggravating, but it's part of the job, it's part, it's not a part that I knew about to begin with, and spent years before I actually was like, oh fuck, this is something that needs to be done. And there are a lot of people that do it better than I do, so my artwork hopefully is quality, but it doesn't mean it's going to sell. And that was a hard reality. That was probably the biggest thing I'm still struggling with. I don't like where that's placed. Let's do... So, you're probably like, shut up and tell me about the work. Like, what I'm thinking right now as far as this page, this piece, I'm just, working out the compositional details with the building behind, and trying to keep the bits of the building in reasonable places to not interfere with the composition I have going on. Let me see, let me rotate this down a little bit. I don't know how much you can even see it. Right. So, we got the big monster buggy thing, robot buggy thing. We've got Phantasma and her sister, whatever her name is. I don't think he even says it in the book yet. sear, force. I feel like I forgot to put in bubbles, speaking of which. So I was going to have her right here, but I don't know. Paragon. All of it is going this direction towards the bug. I tried to have the building is angling this way to be something to lead the eye to the center, and then rotating through and then back to here, and just sort of a spiral kind of movement of the eye. I've been doing, as you work on a piece like this, even though I did a thumbnail and sorted all this out, where I want everybody and how I want them to be working together, and the concert elements of it, if you will. Once you get onto the big page and start working it, sometimes shit just does not go where you want it to go, or work together in the way you want it to work together. So it's absolutely a process of problem solving. Which honestly I think is the biggest thing about all of this work, is it's just a matter of problem solving, whether it's like I was talking about social media, or like this composition, or screwing up ink and having to fix it, whatever. So yeah. I am definitely having an off energy day, as you can surely tell. And it's a matter of just grinding through it. I actually have kind of a soft deadline on this, because Gem City's this Saturday. Today's Wednesday. So, a few days. I just want to pencil and ink this. I'm not going to color it or paint it or letter it or any of that. But I'll be seeing Scott at Gem City. We're actually going to be tabling pretty close to each other again. So I feel like, I'll get this piece done, show it to him. If he likes it, great. If he wants to use it, great. If he wants me to do his job, great. If none of that happens, that's hunky-dory too. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling grinding right now. And that's what it is to be professional. It's, even if you're not getting paid super well for it, you still gotta do the fucking work. That's the only way you're gonna get more work, whether you want to do it right now or not. And, I'm not nearly as slow as I used to be about drawing, but that procrastination streak I have definitely bogs me down, slows me down, and that's something that being freelance, working from home, it's just an easy habit to fall into, and it's kind of my natural being. But it's one more personality. God damn it! One more personality flaw that I need to get past. Alright, you mother. Better. I had hoped for a long time that I'd find a peer, somebody that was in the same general boat, same set of interests, and we would team up and work together and whatever. And I've come across, people like that from time to time. Even the ones that have the same set of goals, it's just really difficult to maintain any sort of a cooperative relationship. I don't know if that's me. I don't know if that's circumstantial, grown up life getting in the way. I've never had anybody be like, hey, you're a dumbass, or hey, you need to quit doing this. But in a way, I almost wish that was the case, because at least if it is me, I can change it, fix it. I'm thoroughly aware of my shortcomings that I'm aware of, but maybe there's stuff that I'm just plain not aware of, and nobody's bothered to tell me yet. But maybe it'll be useful information. I don't know. I'm definitely tired of working in a vacuum by myself. I get my wife's input quite often, but that's very strictly one opinion. And sometimes it feels like she's developing her opinion in contrast to mine, just because wife. So I don't know. Anyway, that's where I am today. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit better. And fucking line. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little more energy. I'm going to just keep grinding today like I do, and drawing this one line about a bazillion times, because that's what it takes. Yep. Anyway, I hope you're having a better day than I am. Cheers, guys.